So you have to understand one thing. When you apply for citizenship, they got to look at the entire case before they make a decision. I'll give you an example. This is not legal advice. I'm just telling you how I was doing it, and every officer does it during this process. There's a section on that application that the officer has to go back to basically your immigration journey to make sure that any benefit you obtain from USCIS was basically lawful, meaning that you got it correctly, that there was no fraud, no misrepresentation, there wasn't any mistakes, or someone missed something, because it happens. I'll give you an example. I had a person that immigration, meaning USCIS, missed that they had to request a visa and that the person needed a waiver before they got the original green card. Yes, it is a USCIS mistake, but he got approved, and he got approved the second time. He got a conditional, got a permanent. So when he got to citizenship, then you have to address all that. So if the person was not, free and clear to obtain that benefit, it has to be addressed before the person becomes a citizen. So the citizenship application basically gets closed, and you go back and you have to bring it up. So you got to follow the process. Talk to the attorney from USCIS. They talk to the trial attorney from what we call OPLA, from ICE, and they determine how they're going to proceed. Sometimes they'll make the determination that you could go ahead and proceed. Depending on what it is, you put the documentation in the file. That way the officer can make a decision. All the times a notice to appear gets issued, and they have to go to court to clear that. Other example is you cannot grant the citizenship if a person has a removal order. I mean, it makes no sense that you have a deportation order, but yet you're going to become a citizen. Well, what happens is at times where a person was in deportation process at one point, they have to terminate the proceedings, and then you can continue with the process. Sometimes they were given withholding or removal. Withholding or removal doesn't mean that they terminated that deportation order. But some officers sometimes miss that part. They went ahead and processed the paperwork, and when it gets to citizenship, they have to go back to court to make sure that that case is terminated before you can make a decision on the citizenship portion. So there's a bunch of areas. Another thing is you have to remember, like a lot of people, what you see now that they calling people for asylum, years ago, a lot of people were filing just to get their work permit. Now, they thought that application went away, that no one was going to look at it again. Well, guess what? That's part of the record. Anything that you file with the government is part of your record. So if you file a frivolous application, when it comes to citizenship, and the officer sees that it was frivolous, they're going to address it. And if you file a frivolous application for asylum, you're not going to get citizenship. And you more than likely are going to end up in removal proceedings. If you want to book a call with me, just check the profile and the link will be there, and we'll be happy to assist you. If you're getting any value out of this content, LSC, like, subscribe, and comment.